All right, today we're going to take a journey right to the heart of our own galaxy, the Milky Way. And we're going to look at it through two very different lenses. Not just science, but also a really fascinating spiritual cosmology that gives us a completely different map of our place in the universe.
So, let's just kick things off with the big question, one that has captivated pretty much everyone, from astronomers to philosophers for centuries. What is actually at the center of our huge swirling galaxy? Well, as we're about to find out, the answer really depends on who you ask.
First up, let's get our bearings with what we know from science. Before we dive into the more esoteric stuff, let's look at the galactic address you'd find in any astronomy textbook.
So, science tells us that our home is this beautiful, barred spiral galaxy we call the Milky Way. And our solar system? We're not in the busy downtown area. We're kind of out in the suburbs, tucked away in a smaller spiral arm called the Orion Cygnus arm. The scale here is it's mind-boggling. Our galaxy has something like 200 billion stars, and it takes our sun a whopping 250 million years to make just one trip around the galactic center. Okay, so we've got our scientific coordinates locked in. Now let's just switch maps entirely. We're going to explore this exact same galaxy, but from the perspective of a spiritual tradition known as Baha'd-Gan, which means knowledge beyond the limits. And believe me, it paints a very different picture of the cosmos.
So, in this cosmology, our galaxy isn't just a Milky Way. It's called the Maha Brahmandam, which translates to the Great Universe. And right away, that name change reframes it. It's not just a physical thing anymore. It's a realm with some serious spiritual significance.
And this brings us right back to our central question, but now with two completely different answers. Science says the galactic center is home to Sagittarius A star, a supermassive black hole with a gravitational pull so intense that nothing, not even light, can get out. But in the Baha'd-Gan cosmology, that exact same spot is identified as Param Prakasham, the supreme light, a void versus a source of light.
So you might be wondering, how can a black hole and a supreme light be in the same place? Well, this cosmology has an explanation for that. It says the supreme light is a kind of energy that exists on a totally different plane, beyond what it calls the gross instruments of science. Basically, our current technology just isn't built to see it.
So, if the center is a source of supreme light, what does that mean for the rest of the galaxy? Well, in this view, the Maha Brahmandam isn't just some random collection of stars. Nope. It's described as a highly organized space with very specific concentric layers, and each one has its own purpose. This diagram right here, this is our guide. It's taken straight from the source material, and it's basically our map to this cosmic structure. As you can see, it shows a series of rings, starting from a central core and moving outward. Let's break down what these layers are all about.
At the very core, you've got that pure energy, Param Prakasham. Moving out from there, you hit rings that are home to divine beings called Maha Shaktis. A bit further out, you find the realms of major deities like Brahma and Vishnu. And then, in the outermost rings, you get something really interesting, layers that are specifically called tourist layers.
Those three inner rings are basically the administrative heart of the whole galaxy. This is the home base for the creator, Maha Shiva, and these powerful female deities, the Maha Shaktis, who are described as the real administrators of this whole cosmic operation.
And this brings us to that wild concept of tourist layers. I mean, how cool is this? According to this cosmology, the outer edges of our galaxy are basically designated for visiting souls from other galaxies, maybe even other universes. It suggests a cosmos that's not isolated at all, but totally interconnected, with beings traveling between different cosmic systems. Okay, so if you have a structured universe with intergalactic tourists, you've got to have some kind of governance, right? So how is it all managed? Well, this cosmology lays out a super clear divine hierarchy for how the Maha Brahmandam is run.
Think of it like a cosmic chain of command. Any problems that come up first go to Maha Brahma. If he can't figure it out, it gets escalated to a council of Maha Vishnus. If it's still not resolved, it goes to the final authority, a group of 16,000 Maha Shaktis. They're the ultimate decision makers.
And here's the crucial point. The supreme creator, Maha Shiva, who's called the owner of the galaxy, he delegates. He doesn't get bogged down in the day-to-day stuff. The actual governance, that is firmly in the hands of the Maha Shaktis. They are the ones running the entire system.
But hold on. This cosmology doesn't just stop with our galaxy. Not even close. It zooms way, way out to embrace the idea of a multiverse,
A reality that's just jam-packed with infinite universes, and each one has its own divine structure.
There's this incredible story from an ancient text that illustrates this perfectly. In it, the creator god Brahma gets a little arrogant, thinking he's the one and only. So to teach him a lesson in humility, the great goddess takes him on a tour of other universes. And there he is absolutely stunned to see countless other Brahmas, other Vishnus, and other Shivas, each one governing their own reality. His entire worldview is shattered when he realizes his universe is just one tiny drop in an infinite ocean of others.
And this story just captures the staggering scale of this whole idea. It's not just about our set of deities. The concept here is that for every single universe that exists, there is a whole other set of divine governors. The number of worlds and gods is quite literally infinite.
So, at the end of the day, we're left with two very different maps of our galaxy. We have the scientific one, showing a universe of physics, chemistry, and cosmic evolution. And we have the spiritual one, a model of a divinely run realm. And this leaves us with a final thought to chew on. Does one have to be right and the other wrong? Or could they be two different languages describing the same incredible reality? One seen through a telescope, and the other, maybe, seen through consciousness itself.